Okay, this meeting is hereby called to order, the annual meeting of the members of Encore Learning. Thank you all for zooming in to what unfortunately is a sad and somber day in light of the yet another episode of mass killings at a Texas school. And I'm sure that weighs heavily on all of us. But we will proceed, and our thoughts and prayers, of course, go out to the families in Texas. I want to thank everybody also for voting for this new slate of officers who are going to take over in the new fiscal year. Our fiscal year begins on July 1. On the screen today, you'll see today's agenda, and you'll note there's an opportunity to ask questions at the end. You can pose questions anytime in the Q&A function, and we'll probably address most of them at the end, but if anything is urgent, we'll address it as their questions are posed. So let me now turn over to Marilyn Marton, who once again has served as the chair of the Nominations Committee. She will announce the results of our election for committee chairs and the open officer positions.
Thank you, Tom. First of all, I'd like to tell everyone that we had 261 votes for our new slate. We had 3 people either abstained or voted against, so I'd say we have a clear majority in favor of our new slate. Let me announce the new slate. We're happy to announce the following people: Barbara Spangler, Mildred Patterson, Kate Mattos, Jean LaBella, Deborah Spero, Gail Massot, Noreen Quill, Kris McLaughlin, Marty Sudan, Richard Rubin, Kate Mattos again, Kris McLaughlin, Mildred Lawson, Ann Kaup, Ann Werner, and Steve Shapiro and Joan Carter were not on the ballot because they continued with their term. We want to certainly thank all of our slate for being willing to volunteer, but we have 3 new people who have not done this before. So welcome to Deborah Spero, Noreen Quill, and Ann Werner. Thank you very much for stepping up. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my committee, because we do this as a committee. So thank you very much to Mary Crosby, Richard Yunke, Ellen Marquez, Ed Rader, and Kathleen Sheehan. Take it away, Tom.
Thank you. My thanks to you and your committee for doing this important task. I know I worked with you a little bit, and I know how much time and energy and thought you put into it. So again, our gratitude for that. My congratulations to the new board members, especially Barb Spangler, who is the perfect choice to head the organization. You're definitely getting an upgrade with her. You'll hear from our new president-elect in a few minutes, but I first want to give an update on the health of the organization, and I'm going to make 2 asks of all of you. We have come through yet another year of balancing our activities in the face of COVID, and we continue to stand strong. For us to continue to thrive and be able to offer a large variety of popular courses, we need to boost our membership from our current 860 members to over 1,000 over the next 1 or 2 years. We could easily do this if we could, each of you could go out and recruit 1 new member. The best time to do this is of course, when we have a product to sell. And so at the end of the summer, when our fall course list is published, I'm going to ask all of you, or we will ask all of you, to go out and try to solicit new members. And there's an added incentive to join then, because then they'll be able to participate in our 20th anniversary gala celebration in early September, which you're going to hear about later in this program. Our most successful recruitment program has always been via word of mouth from existing members. If we cannot increase our enrollment solely in this way, the board has approved an investment in additional recruitment efforts, which you're going to hear about later. We could avoid these costs, some of them, if our members could reach out to their friends and neighbors to join Encore Learning. Let me give you some statistics from our successful fall and spring semesters for the current fiscal year, which ends at the end of June. We had 2,226 registrations for 66 classes. Our most popular course, Global Hotspots, was offered for the 18th time and had 164 registrants this semester. Each semester, we offered more new courses than repeats, and about 1/3 of the instructors each semester were new to Encore Learning. The course feedback you provided at the end of the course showed that 91% of respondents would recommend the course they took to another member. Comments from this feedback indicate that members appreciate the lively class discussions, the breadth of instructor knowledge, and interaction with other Encore Learning members. We will continue to be grateful to members for recommending courses, subjects for courses, and instructors, and appreciate George Mason University, especially the Schar School of Government and Public Policy, for sharing their facility with us. The Academic Programs Committee, co-chaired by your new President-elect, Barb Spangler and Jean Labella, have done an excellent job this year working with our staff to carefully increase the number of in-person classes. I also want to say a few words about our newly established collaboration with another lifelong learning organization in Virginia, the Lifelong Learning Institute of Northern Virginia, which is called LLI/NOVA for short, and this is affiliated with the Annandale campus of Northern Virginia Community College. LLI NOVA and Encore Learning will offer the other organization's members the opportunity to engage in its courses at special rates. For Encore Learning members, this means that LLI NOVA will offer our members a special opportunity to take any or all of their summer semester courses for a flat fee of $55. LLI NOVA has an interesting variety of courses. Many are a single lecture, so anyone who's missing the opportunity to take courses over the summer might want to take a look at this offer, which will be sent to all members, the details, later this week. Another highlight of the year was the rich variety of special events. So far, we have had 1,259 registrations for 29 member-only special events that included virtual art museum tours, as well as the GMU Observatory. And we have an in-person walking tour coming up. 20 of these events were so popular, we had waiting lists. The committee is working hard to offer these popular programs again. The Encore Learning Presents on Monday afternoons were offered 20 times during the year. These events gave us an opportunity to hear about timely topics, new books, and local issues, and were highly rated at 4.7 out of possible 5. I'm grateful for the hard work of the Special Events Committee chaired by Kris McLaughlin. They do a fabulous job of sending out regular emails of upcoming events and reminders on the day of the event. If you took every class and attended every event this year, you were with us for 633 hours. Many of our clubs continue to function, and this slide shows their activity over the past year. As always, we appreciate the work of the club coordinators to make club activities possible. Finally, let me give special thanks to 3 members of the board who, like me, will be retiring. Kathy LaPierre as co-chair of the Membership Committee, Eileen Janis as co-chair of the Class Aides Committee, and Charlie Hallahan as chair of the Volunteer Committee. All 3 have made terrific contributions to Encore Learning over many years. I also want to remember my 2 predecessors, John Sprott and Art Gosling, who both passed away during my term as president and who both made invaluable and lasting contributions to this organization. I have one more ask of you, and my final ask is to ask each of you to consider volunteering, either again or for the first time, if you've never done it. Volunteers carry much of our workload as class aides, board members, committee members, and club coordinators. Volunteering gives you the opportunity to interact with a wide variety of staff, instructors, and other members, which I have found to be both fun and extremely rewarding. It also helps us keep our costs down so that we remain affordable for all. And now I'm going to turn it over to our treasurer and current vice president, who's stepping down as vice president to serve solely as treasurer, Steve Shapiro. Go ahead, Steve.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, everybody, for joining us this morning. I want to give you a quick recap of the financial results for the year that just passed, and then briefly discuss some of the challenges we have for next year. As Tom said, we're in pretty good financial shape, but we do have some challenges coming up, and we'll talk about those. So you can see the membership and registration represent the vast majority of our revenue base. This year, we were able to maintain a surplus, but a lot of that was also due to the PPP loan forgiveness that took place this fiscal year as a result of the government's COVID's relief efforts that I'm sure you all know about. We also have, as we've mentioned, some scholarships that we provide to both students at George Mason University and Arlington Public Schools. We have an endowment that provides us some income, although we generally let that reinvest in the year. The data you see here does not include either the gains or losses on the investment income itself. We don't currently treat that in our operating budget. And you can see in a big picture, the money is substantially directed toward our staff. And then we have a variety of other expenses that are required to keep the operation going. So as I said, the moment the operating surplus is positive, we do, however, in the next year, there are going to be 2 initiatives that you'll learn a little more about in this meeting that will require us to expend some money. One of them is to, as Tom said, we want to rebuild our membership base, and we do anticipate doing some proactive outreach. I think Kate will talk a bit about that. So our hope is through a combination of various marketing efforts that we're going to attract more members. And of course, word of mouth from all of you has always been traditionally the best way to promote the organization. So we encourage you to think about any neighbors or friends that could benefit from membership. We have the 20th anniversary celebration coming up in September that you'll be learning more about as well. And that will involve some expenses. Those are kind of one-time expenses, but we will have to treat them in our operating budget. So I'm going to leave it at that without getting into all the nitty-gritty, but that's where we stand in terms of our operating budget and past year results. Thanks very much.
Tom, you were muted.
Now it's time for our new president-elect, Barb Spangler, to say a few words. Go ahead, Barb.
Thanks, Tom. Good morning, Encore Learning friends. Thank you for your vote of confidence, allowing me to take the helm for the next several years. I'm honored. I look forward to working with you and sharing amazing classes, special events, and clubs. But before I go, Tom, on behalf of Encore Learning, thank you for your leadership over the past several years. You've led our organization through some challenging times and have done so with enthusiasm and a can-do attitude. You've epitomized cool, calm, and collected. Thanks. In the few minutes that I have, I'd like to share a couple of thoughts. First is, let's be grateful. I like to think of where Encore Learning has been and where Encore Learning can go. We're a finely tuned sailing vessel, and you make it so. I'm grateful for each of you and for your desire to keep us on course. I'm grateful for our small and dedicated Encore Learning staff. So thank you, Encore Learning members and staff. I encourage you to share a word of thanks whenever you can. It's so easy and means so much, and we sail so much better with kindness and gratitude. My second thought is, echoing what Tom has said, we want to expand our membership. We have room to grow and we want to. We're always looking for good crew members to help keep our boat afloat. And so with your help, we can reach our goal of adding 100+ new members. Think of the brain power. Think of the fun and the joy of meeting new people. We're serious about growing, and we hope you'll join us in helping lapsed members rejoin and newbies join for the first time. And as Tom said, bring a friend. Next point is to suggest that we continue to find great new courses and instructors. We want to hear from you about courses you never took or wish you had paid attention to. Let us know of potential instructors. With this information, the Academic Programs Committee will plot our course by chasing every viable lead. I think you'll agree, Encore Learning offers, pardon me, an amazing array of courses. Send your suggestions for new destinations for us to info@encorelearning.net. My fourth point is let's be open to new opportunities and work with other lifelong learning organizations. And Tom mentioned this. The times they are changing, my friends, as you well know. And as Tom alluded, we're always on the lookout for opportunities for you to engage. So we'll continue to explore opportunities or joint ventures with other lifelong learning institutes, LLI Nova, for example. We can share our opportunities and we can join in other organizations' opportunities. We're checking things out, as Tom mentioned, and we'll keep you posted as plans firm up. You can expect information coming soon about how to take advantage of Encore Learning's cooperative effort with LLI Nova. My next thought is continuing to volunteer. Without you, Encore Learning just wouldn't be able to make it. We depend on our small and dedicated Encore Learning staff, but we also depend on you to volunteer. And we're grateful for your willingness to take courses and to give back to Encore Learning. Thanks, board members, class aides, pubs, special events volunteers. Thank you, APC, who generates courses, and to those of you who volunteer for membership outreach opportunities. Thanks, club members, who share so many interesting opportunities to gather virtually and in person. You do great work and have a great time. So don't be shy. There's a volunteer opportunity awaiting you. Let us know where you want to help. You name your interest and availability, and we'll count on you. And finally, let's celebrate. In a prior life as a manager, I remember that celebrating successes was so very important to the team and to the organization. I believe strongly in saying, yay, us. Celebrating Encore Learning's 20-year anniversary is a milestone, and I encourage you to join in the festivities. We've reached a wonderful mark. We're ready to open the spinnaker and sail ahead. We celebrate our founders, our leaders, for without them, we wouldn't be here. Let's do what they do at the finish line of a major sailing event like the America's Cup. Let's pop the proverbial cork. We need to have a good chance to party, to gather with one another. Heck, we have Zoomed for the past 2.5 years, and it's time to meet outside at a healthy distance and celebrate. Join us for a September afternoon of fun and recognition, and you will be hearing from Mildred Patterson with more detail on this event. So in conclusion, you, Encore Learning members, are the wind to power our sails as we move forward. Join us, take the helm, or be a strong member of the crew. You are valued and valuable. Thank you. And now I'll turn the Zoom lens to several key committee chairs who will share their visions. And I'd like to do that first for Jean Labella, who's unable to join us. And she asked me to share some thoughts with you. And she said when she first joined the committee about 5 years ago, the task in front of APC seemed daunting, but she learned quickly that our instructors are as passionate about teaching as all of us are about learning. So we on the committee continue to have the mission to search for individuals who are eager to share their expertise and then handle straightforward administrative tasks to get each course on our schedule. APC has 12 members. Any of you who'd like to join the crew are welcome to do so. And the good news is for fall, we have some 38 courses in our lineup, most of them new topics. Jean mentions that we'll start planning for our spring 23 term in September. She welcomes you to join the committee. And if you have a hidden talent and would like to teach a course, please reach out. You can send your email to info@encorelearning.net and she'll be in touch. She specifically wants to thank Deb Spero for her willingness to serve as co-chair with Jean as APC moves forward. Deb has been a member of the committee and thoughtful and productive contributor for the past 2 years. And I know that she and Jean will work well together. So those are Jean's thoughts on APC moving forward. Gail?
Hi, good morning. It's great to see you all here this morning. First, our outgoing co-chair Eileen Janis and I would like to welcome Noreen Quill as our new volunteer class aid committee co-chair. Eileen and I would like to give profound thanks to our volunteer class aides and professional staff. They ensured the success of our year of virtual and in-person learning. They and our volunteer instructors made it all happen. In what sometimes feels like an untethered world, it's a gift to be part of this kind, generous, and concerned community. If you've ever thought about volunteering as a class aide, this upcoming session is a perfect time to step up. Being a class aide is all about opportunity. Opportunity to serve, opportunity to use your talents, hone your skills, and learn some new ones. It's a chance to meet and work with our Encore Learning community members and get to know the instructors. And there are other perks too, like free parking or a free class. We will have about 38 great classes offered in the fall, some virtual, others in person. And consequently, we will need over 70 volunteers, new and old, to lend support to our instructors and help class members have a smooth experience. Volunteer class aides are critical to the success of Encore Learning courses. Class aides are the face of Encore Learning for our volunteer instructors, providing pre-course information, audiovisual assistance, and classroom support. Aides keep attendees up to date with class logistics, manage the attendance, and sometimes help with sharing screens or audiovisual equipment, and facilitate questions. They have a lot to do, but it's easy and fun. We have a ton of training and practice sessions over the summer for Zoom classes and a pre-class rehearsal with the instructor. There will be a training session in the fall, of course, for in-person classes. Don't dare? Not sure? Cowed by the specter of technology? We try to pair newbies as a backup aid with seasoned volunteers. You'll receive all the detailed information you'll need, and we'll have the support of our professional staff throughout the semester, as well as our volunteer class aides. What more can you ask for? Please do join us. So when you register, do check the yes box to volunteer or answer positively the call from a class aide seeker. Be one of our over 70 wonderful class aides in Encore Learning's fall session. Encore Learning depends on volunteers for its success, and we're looking forward to seeing some new faces. We look forward to seeing our class aides from this past spring semester at our Encore Learning Coffee to honor and celebrate. I want to personally thank Eileen Janis for all her years of service, dedication, talent, and camaraderie as co-chair of the Class Aid Committee. Noreen and I will certainly be calling her for advice and support during the coming year. Best wishes in all you do, Eileen. And here's to a great Encore Learning fall semester for all. And now we'll hear from Membership Committee.
Good morning, I'm Kate Mattos, and I'm glad to be here celebrating with you another annual meeting. We sure had an interesting couple of years. Thank goodness for Zoom and for all your energy. You know, like Energizer bunnies, members kept learning and learning and learning. As you have heard, however, our membership is down. We don't have complete data as to why. We know that some just weren't keen on Zoom, but maybe some have moved or some had family obligations or some other issues, whatever the reason. Our membership is down and we have to turn that around. So this year we aim to build our membership. So here is my pitch, my invitation, or maybe my challenge to you. Let's all work to bring in new members. All of us know a lot of people. When you're chatting with a friend, and I'm one who chats with everybody, mention Encore Learning. In fact, last January, you might remember you got a little card in the mail. If you remember, you can give the card out. Suggest people check it out. Tell your friend what you liked about Encore Learning, a special event, a class, a club, and of course, the fun and interesting people. Mention that you're a proud member. And that's really how I got here. A particularly enthusiastic friend of mine told me about Encore Learning and said, oh, I had to join. Check it out. And so I did, and here I am. So that's the best way to grow membership is through our members. And we invite you to talk up Encore Learning. Now, I do want to mention a little bit about our membership committee and some new ways we're thinking about attracting new members. We have looked at advertising. We're considering direct mail of different types. We're considering open houses. These are all some ideas that are in the mix. In fact, if you would like to join the membership committee, please contact Encore Learning. We would love your ideas. We would love to meet you. And we know that there are always a better idea out there. Our members are the power of Encore Learning. So this year, even though that pandemic lurks around, let's continue to learn. Let's have fun. Let's go get some new members and be proud and loud Encore Learning members. So thank you. And let's see, I'm going to turn it over to Kris McLaughlin.
You're muted, Kris.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kris McLaughlin. I'd like to start by thanking the members of the Special Events Committee. We have David Tate, George Hobart, Helena Syrian, Joanne Jones, Louise Kenny, Michelle Trahan, Priscilla Becker, and Terry Smith. And we have a lot of fun. We have so many possibilities to explore. We meet once a month, Mondays at 1 o'clock, and the first Monday of the month. And we, as a group, decide what makes sense, what we think our members would like, what we think our members wouldn't like, and they fall off the list. And we review that possibilities list that is always growing. And that's in part because some of you send suggestions for speakers to the Encore Learning office, and I appreciate that. I hope you'll consider joining our Special Events Committee. Karen Price, who is a longtime member, has moved to the Southern Hemisphere and is no longer helping us out. And Helena Syrian is getting ready to move to the Boston area where her family lives. So we could use some newbies on our committee. Just send an email to info@encorelearning.net. Thank you, everybody. And now for the party animal, Mildred Patterson. Tell us about our celebration.
Well, Barb is so right. A 20th anniversary is something to celebrate. We look forward to gathering members on Monday afternoon, September 12th at George Mason's Arlington campus to celebrate these past 20 years. We will send invitations with the details and a chance to RSVP by email in August. The program will be short the opportunity to visit with friends will be long. And if you're still hesitating about putting this on your calendar, let me add that always alluring phrase: refreshments will be served. Please join us. I'm not sure who's next. Laura, I think.
Good morning, folks. We're going to take just a few minutes to share some highlights from the year. And I invite Tom and others to chime in as I share some pictures. So we offered so many wonderful in-person classes this year, and you can see we've got faculty and students here. The picture with masks off was after we changed our policy midway through the semester where masks were optional. So that was really fun. And then you've got others with great examples of wearing masks. I've got Ken Avis here on the left, and we've got theater appreciation and psychology. And we had an in-person meetup of the affordable housing class. And Dick Junkie taught his wonderful Jobim class this semester, as something that we missed while we were not in person. And we've got the Spring in the Parks class. I think, Tom, you were a participant there. Our Walk 4 Mile Run, which was a new class outside. We were able to increase enrollment up to 50 with the benefit of using a live voice technology. In the middle here, we've got a dynamic duo, 2 instructors, Irmgard Scherer and Emmett Holman, who are a couple, and Irmgard took Emmett's class this semester. That was fun. And we love the feedback we get from members who take classes. It's just fantastic. If I ever need a pick-me-up, I can look at the evaluation responses, and we share the responses with our instructors, and the academic programs committee uses the information to provide feedback to instructors. And we really appreciate the feedback we hear. We had fantastic Zoom classes. We love it when folks turn on their screen and we can see them and increase the interaction. We have some favorite instructors here. Scott Wood, I just noticed in this morning's email I got from the county that the Arlington Philharmonic is doing a concert this summer, so you can check that out. You can see Scott in person, and he'll be teaching in the fall. So great Zoom classes. It's worked really well for many of our instructors and members alike. Dan Sherman class was probably our second most popular class this spring. And I'm excited he's going to be teaching a Sondheim class in the fall. So put that on your calendar. And our global hotspots.
He's also going to do a special event in the fall and talk about the the first showing of Casablanca, which I think everybody will enjoy. It'll be fun.
Great. That's fantastic. And our Global Hotspots class, also our most popular class, our 18th time of offering Global Hotspots. And we were really blessed to have fantastic speakers, including Chris Piper, former ambassador to the Ukraine, and during a really timely topic. Our feedback on Zoom class is also extremely positive. So just some really kind words from members who take the time to give us this feedback. Our clubs have been so busy, just a barrel of fun. As you can see here, we've got the Cinema Club, the Breakfast Club, the Tech Club, the Nonfiction Book Club, Breakfast Club, who met virtually as well, and Travel Club. So lots of club memories over the year. And special events have been so well attended and responsive. We send out those emails on Thursdays at noon, and some of the events fill up by 12:02. They really do a fantastic job of getting the word out. And we have some recent events here, including a in-person tour at the Anderson House. That's a great picture of the group there. The feedback we get on special events is also just fantastic. Really appreciate the comments. We share these with the speakers, and I hope that the committee realizes what wonderful work that they're doing. Really fantastic. So I want to really take time to appreciate our wonderful board of directors. We've met every other month, and we even have a little bit of fun. Tom and Mildred joined me at George Mason University in the fall for their Halloween crawl. But the board meets every other month, as well as the executive committee. And so you see the executive committee here on the lower right. And they're happy to hear from you if you have questions or concerns. But fantastic board, and have enjoyed working with everybody this year. And of course, we love all of our volunteers. You make this all possible. Got several committees shown here: our 20th anniversary committee, our class aides, a special events committee, our academic programs committee, and our wonderful volunteer, Marty Saddam, who has really engaged us to provide training and support to members with technology, and especially going virtual when we went back virtual in March of 2020. And Marty was recognized this winter as an Arlington COVID hero, and he received an award from the county. So we were really pleased about that. But we want to engage you more. And so one of the things we're curious about is how you use social media. And I'm just launching a poll here. Now it's time for us to hear a little bit from you. We're curious about what kind of social media platforms you use regularly. So just check what you might be using, and we'll share those results. Tom, we're going to go into member Q&A.
Okay. Yeah, let me, that'd be great. If you have any questions, now's time to answer. As I told Barb, our president-elect, if they're easy, I'll take the questions. If they're hard, she can have them. And but before we do that, I just have to say one thing. We can't say enough things about our staff and our excellent executive director, Laura Polari-Welby's. Barb and I first really collaborated closely together when we were hiring a new executive director, and with Art. And we had 6 or 7 strong applicants, and Laura stood out, and we have never looked back. So thank you, Laura. Also, Patty, our longtime Patty Rowland, is often will check our phones and other things, make sure that we get back to you on things, which is a little more complicated during COVID, but she's been very responsive, as have our other staff members. Francesca Chilcote, I know a lot of you have had her help you be a class aide and set up, have helped the class aides with classes. Vivian Gray also has added a lot with our communications. And our newest one, Carrie Fract, is already taking on a good load of work. So thanks to all of you. Really, as I say, it's not always easy working with a bunch of grumpy old people, but you do it well. So thank you. And I'm the grumpy old person who I'm referring to. So I will stop here and let us see the results of the social media poll.
Well, there you go. We've got Nextdoor and YouTube are quite popular, and less on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks for letting us know that.
Right, and we are on YouTube. We have a lot on YouTube.
That's right.
And things. Okay. Any questions? I don't see any in the queue, but anybody wants to, can they unmute and ask a question, or Going once?
Well, not unmute, but they can put it in the Q&A.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that will bring us to a close then. Thank you all again for attending. There's the staff looking somewhat incognito. I think that's Vivian, Francesca, Patty, and Carrie, and on the right is our Executive Director, Laura. So again, thank you all for everything you do for us.
Cute.
Okay,
Thank you
last
all so
chance. All right, good. Thanks. Great job, everybody.
Thanks for joining us today. We do have lots of upcoming special events. Check our calendar, watch your email, stay in touch with us over the summer. The fall catalog will be announced in early August.